Welcome to MarcusG.TV. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. I'm a chef on a mission. Today's mission is cooking healthy food on a budget. I always feel sad when I hear that people are hungry, when they don't have enough food. It's one of those things that I feel like everybody should have the capabilities of eating a meal. And I just experienced it recently. One of my employees, that was a brand new hire, and I found out that he had no food at his house. And I said to one of the other cooks at the restaurant, I said, make sure the guy's like eating staff meal here, and make sure he's like taking extra food home. You know, give him like plates of extra food to have taken. For somebody to go hungry and not have food, I think is a tragedy. Tragedy. Here's an email that I got, a fan email on my YouTube. So it wasn't a public comment. It was actually an email. Hi Marcus, I have enjoyed watching your videos. I need some advice if you don't mind. I live in South Carolina and recently lost everything due to the flood, including all of my food, etc. My room caved in on her trailer and FEMA condemned it. They're supposed to give me $4,000, which is enough to do anything in regards to fixing my home or getting a used single wide. I am currently staying in a little 24-foot camper and trying to survive. I am low on money and I am trying to eat as well as I can, but mainly only can get canned goods. I made a potluck soup by combining all the vegetables last week and pouring a can of diced tomatoes in it. It wasn't the best soup I ever made, but it tasted pretty good when you are hungry. I was wondering if you have any tips and could pass along to me how to eat cheaply but healthy. My freezer in the camper is all that works, so I have a problem of storing too much food. I froze my soup and heated it each day so I could eat it. Thank you for your time. So this is a great question. It's like, people always wonder, how do I eat healthy and how do I eat on a budget? Several years ago when Mario Batali was doing the food stamp challenge, where he goes, I'm going to do the food stamp challenge. And it was like $4 or $5 a day. It was something ridiculously small amount. And he was going to feed his family on it, which he did do. So the local organization here in the Hudson Valley got some of the more well-known chefs together and said, hey, can you guys replicate what Mario Batali is doing? Can you do the food stamp program? Can you eat on a budget? And I thought it was a really awesome idea. I was like, I'm totally up for that. And not only am I up for doing this, but I'm willing to do it organically. I'm willing to feed my family on the few bucks per person a day, and I'm willing to, it was like $5 a person. So don't hold me to it, but it was something like that. It was some small, ridiculous amount. I said, not only will I do it, but I will do it organically. That's my vow to this challenge. And we did it for like a week, and we did it. We did it organically. So here are my tips. Here are my tips on how I did that, how I ate healthy and organic on an extreme budget. So I would suggest crock-pot cookery. Crock-pot cookery is great. You put a pot of beans on in the morning, you leave it going all day, you come home at dinner and you have beautiful beans. All different kinds of beans you can do. But if you make like black beans or red kidney beans and make it more into like a chili, that would be fantastic. And season it. You put some canned diced tomatoes in there, some chili spices, some garlic, a little bit of salt, and you're good to go. And of course, organic dried beans are not expensive. They're more expensive than non-organic, but as far as a high quality source of protein and fiber, for an organic food, beans are literally a bargain. Go to the health food store and buy the ones in the bulk packages as opposed to the ones in the little small containers. If you're buying them as far as cans, then you're going to pay 2, 3, 4 times the amount in a can when they're cooked. So you can do soups in there as well. You know, you do a white bean soup in there, you throw some pasta in there and some vegetables, and you can make like a minestrone soup. Minestrone soups are very hearty. You add a lot of vegetables in there, some zucchini, some celery, some onions. You can even add mushrooms or whatever else you want. You throw some cooked pasta in there, whole wheat pasta, of course, Whole wheat organic would be the best. You have a nice, beautiful, hearty minestrone soup. You can put, if you're gluten-free, you can put rice pasta in there. I would eat things like grains like quinoa. Quinoa and millet, two fantastic grains, loaded with nutrition. Quinoa is a little expensive, but when you think about it, if you're filling up on quinoa and some vegetables, that's not an expensive meal at all. I am going to say that I did the challenge totally vegan. We do eat plant-based in my house to begin with, but we did the challenge 100% totally vegan. Once you start adding organic eggs, organic cheese, or any kind of animal products to begin with, but especially if they're organic, you're going to start increasing the amount you spend. So if you start buying chicken, especially if you start buying steak, even if you go like this, like the store here, the local store ShopRite has organic ground beef, it's $5.99 a pound. Well, you make a hamburger, you're giving each person 8 ounces. That's $3 a person right there, right off the bat. You could never eat $3 worth of beans of a chili in one sitting. It's impossible, the amount that you'd have to eat to do that. Now, if you eat a hamburger, you still want a starch, and you still want vegetables, you still want other things to go with it. So as soon as you start putting meat, animal products into, especially like goat cheese or something, as soon as you start putting that into the realm of your meals, that astronomically raises the price. If you've watched my videos before, or if you are a vegetarian or a vegan, you do understand that you don't need the protein from meats. If you're not a vegetarian or vegan and you're questioning, well, where do I get my protein from? That's a whole nother different topic that I'm not going to cover in this particular video. But however, rest assured, everything you eat has protein. When you add beans, when you add a grain, or if you add high quality vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, those are loaded with protein. Now keep in mind, everything you eat has protein. Even an apple has protein, corn has protein. They might be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6%, but as soon as you hit the broccoli, you're going to talk about 40% protein by caloric caloric density, so by caloric count. So everything you eat has protein across the board. That's just a given. So you're going to get your protein. Don't worry about that. Rice cooker. I love a rice cooker. It's so easy to cook rice. You put brown rice in there, brown basmati, brown short grain, and the nice thing about it is you put the water and you put the rice in, you plug it in, you turn it on the on switch, and a half an hour later, or whatever magical number it is, you have rice ready to go. You can do a lot of things with rice. You can add curry milk, coconut milk and curry spice, and add some vegetables to it. Where you can make rice as the mainstay of the meal. Sweet potatoes. Go buy some organic sweet potatoes and bake them off. They are so filling. One big sweet potato and you're like, wow, I am full. Now I'm trying to pick things here that you don't need to refrigerate. Refrigeration was an issue with this email. You don't need to refrigerate a lot of these things. You can go buy sweet potatoes, the rice, the beans, all that kind of stuff, the pasta. No need to refrigerate it. Of course, once you start buying like celery and things like that, and especially greens, you're going to have to. But you can buy a lot of fruits without refrigerating fruits. You can buy cantaloupes, honeydews. I gotta tell you, a lot of times you can walk into a grocery store and buy like 2 big cantaloupes for $5. If you eat 1 cantaloupe for breakfast, you're set. I've even seen them $1, $1.50 here locally. That's a lot of food that you're going to be able to eat. And incidentally, cantaloupe does have protein. Cantaloupe has a great quality of protein in it. People think that, oh, all these fruits and vegetables don't have protein. Everything has protein. So the melons, the pineapple, watermelon, the apples, there's a lot of fruits that you can buy that you do not have to refrigerate. Once you start buying like strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, things like that, then you have to refrigerate things like that after a certain amount of time. On the veggie side, you buy greens, you buy broccoli, you buy cucumbers, all that stuff needs to get into the refrigerator at some point very soon. Cucumbers and broccoli might stay out longer than the other stuff, but it's still one of those things where you have to get them into a refrigerator. So if you're concerned about getting your veggies in, I would suggest buying a green powdered supplement in the meantime. Some of them are not cheap, but it's a way that if you want to make sure that you're getting enough greens into your diet, and I don't recommend this as a replacement for greens, but if you're concerned, you can add these powdered green juices. And I say it's expensive because you might spend 20 or 30 bucks on a unit of it that'll last you all month. So really it's not expensive in the long run, it's just an upfront expensive cost. When you do those, make sure you're buying something from a powdered juice concentrate and not a powdered vegetable. So they juice it and then they dry it as opposed to just pulverizing it and drying it. So you're getting a much more concentrated mixture when it's evaporated juices as opposed to just ground up vegetables. Bananas. Bananas are fantastic and expensive food. You can buy those and let those sit out for days. And let me tell you something, you eat 2-3 bananas in a meal and you are full. Bananas are extremely filling. Nuts and dried fruit, they're a bit more on the expensive side, but if you want to splurge and get some organic almonds or some walnuts are very inexpensive. High quality omega fats in them, high quality food to begin with, but don't overindulge on them. Be careful, do not overindulge. And like I said, they do cost more, so that's some kind of like a splurge item. Oatmeal for breakfast. Oatmeal is fantastic. It's really inexpensive. You add water, you add a sweetener if you want, throw some bananas in there, and you're good to go. And again, I wouldn't do this with meat. I would totally forego the whole animal protein, animal product during this whole thing. And if you're vegetarian, of course, you understand my logic on that. If you're not vegetarian, and if you're on a budget, it's really going to help if you cut the meats out. Eggs, all that kind of stuff, cut it out. So those are my tips for healthy eating on a budget. And that's how I did the food stamp challenge a few years back with my family, by eating foods all like that, keeping it plant-based, keeping it simple, straightforward, healthy. No reason to buy olive oil, no reason to buy vinegar and condiments like that. You can if you want to, but you buy a high quality olive oil, it's expensive. And really, if you really don't need to put that on greens. You don't really need to. One of the best salad dressings for me for greens is I'll take some romaine, chop it up, or Lola Rosa, and I'll take a grapefruit, peel it, supreme it, which means take the sections out, and then squeeze the juice onto the greens and throw the grapefruit in there, and add cucumbers, add tomatoes, add red onions, and that residual grapefruit juice that you squeezed out from the fresh grapefruit makes a fantastic dressing. Of course, inexpensive and very, very, very healthy, very alkaline, very digesting in your body. It's just an amazing, amazing food, grapefruits. So those are my tips for eating healthy on a budget. Hope that helped you down there in South Carolina, and good luck with rebuilding. I heard the flooding was bad down there from the last hurricane they had. So anytime that I hear of tragedies, especially natural disasters like that, it's terrible. But then when it comes to people not being able to have the proper amount of food, I just think it's totally, totally, totally unacceptable in today's society that people don't have the food. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. Thanks for watching this. If you like my videos, please hit like, subscribe to my channel, definitely pass it on. Get over to my website, chefonamission.com. Get over to my main YouTube channel, check out all the different topics that I cover, and subscribe and share. Thank you very much.